that paper I was looking at yesterday, the space law. It was from the, oops, I'm not sharing my screen. It's space law, and it's from this UN meeting. But I'm going to go down here to page 295, because this is where they got into this conversation about these maps. And what this actually does is proves Sean Hufford wrong. Gosh darn it. Proves Sean Hufford wrong. All these guys who think that these satellite images that we're getting are actual images, because they say right here exactly what happens to them first. Sorry, I got to get to the page 295. And it's just ridiculous. Once you realize that, then what are you guys standing on? We don't get pictures of the Earth. So right here it's saying, far from being merely a procedural matter, at first sight we can be seeing such the problem that prompted serious studies of the nature of this type of evidence. In recent times, it appears the agenda of a number of international private institutions and national programs. So here he's talking about, at the root of the question is the fact that even though digital mapping allows little margin for human error in the production of satellite images, there is plenty of space for error in the interpretation of the image, which in practice, as observed by the British Institute, means that it is of the opinion of the expert and not the Earth observation data that is used in court. And it basically goes on to say that it's not what the data that they're getting can't even be used in court, because it's going through a computer first, and it can't even be used as proof in a court of law that it's an actual map. I mean, that's what they're saying here. I'm trying to find the exact spot. But if it's not a map, right here, as this guy points out, the difficulties concern the very nature of satellite imagery, which mainly consist of data and not photographs proper. This point is essential where evidence is concerned. An aerial photograph cannot be modified unless an expert at a later stage can prove falsification. This is not the case when dealing with the numbered images that are no more than a list of data that can be modified without a possibility of detection. On this assumption, and taking into account the presently available techniques, it's imperative that we supervise the process of obtaining the... So there's not even a supervisor who's obtaining these images. They're coming from so-called satellites, going through a computer, and out comes the data. And you guys are shocked that all the data says that it's a globe. Well, of course it does. Well, what do you expect it to show you? It's the last effort of these guys to fool people, and everybody's falling for it because nobody will just stand up and demand proof. So luckily these things are showing up in meetings with the UN where they're saying, hey, we got to change this because we don't even know if the information we're getting... They actually had a court case where there was two countries, I don't know what they are, Mali and somebody else, were arguing about land. And when they brought them the satellite imagery that NASA gave them, the judge wouldn't accept it. Right here, between Burkina Faso and Mali. The judge said, no, I'm not going to accept that because it's not proof of anything. So, I mean, they wouldn't even accept this so-called image because it wasn't an image. It was what satellites give you, ran through a computer, and out comes this data. And even they know it's not an image. So when you got Sean Hufford saying, there's the Himawari satellite, well, it's not taking photographs. It's sending data, and then people like Simone, or what's his name? Rob Simon. Yeah, people Simon. Like that are taking that data and constructing for you what they think you want the world to look like. If you don't have a problem with that, I can't understand it. I don't see where you don't see that is a place for deception. Why can't you take a camera and take a picture like we can do in real life? Everybody who lives here, it's 2017. We have 18 megapixel cameras on shelves at CVS. You can just go take a picture. They cannot take a picture of the Earth. There's a problem.
We can see satellites that are 22,000 miles away with the naked eye, but satellites can't see the Earth from 22,000 miles away with optics. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.